Morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. We are moving right along in this course. We're finishing off Unit 5, going into Unit 6, kind of simultaneously. So last night you handed in your sales proposals. I'll go through those and get those back to you as fast as I can. And this next coming Sunday, you're going to have your draft for role play too. So I want to give you some tips on how to do that using your rubric, using your handbook, and using the two in tandem to create that second role play. So you're going to pick up your role play with a second meeting. That's where you left off with the first one. So when you come back to meet that client, you're coming back, so you're doing your introductions or your hellos, haven't seen you in a week, whatever the case may be. Then you continue to do a rapport piece again. That's just natural. Just imagine if you were going out and actually doing a sales call, you wouldn't just walk in and start talking about what you're selling. You go in and just chit chat for a little bit. Those are the rapport piece is to relax you and the buyer. So you do a little rapport piece. When you're typing that, it's probably 4, 5, 6 lines. Like, make it a good little conversation, but not over consuming considering, the length of your role play. And then you'll go into asking, after you've had the week to discuss this with your partner or whatever the excuse was they gave to move the meeting to next week. Then of course they've come up with some things they want to negotiate. Now you should have 3 negotiation pieces in your second role play. The other thing you need to do is use your sales proposal in conjunction with your second role play. So anywhere where it says, show visuals or, have something to prove it, use that role play and use it all the way through it, because that's how you would do it in a typical sale. So as you're going down through the rubric itself, that's what you want to continue to do. So some of the objections that they may have is, you've got a schedule here that we're going to, order today. Oh, well, I'm not ready to order today. I'll order next week. So you're going to have to, you're looking at your sales proposal, and that's just something that come up off my head. But look in your handbook, there are suggestions, as well as in your textbook, going into Unit 6, in chapters 8 and 9, is all about objections, and that also gives you ideas as to what you might object. Typically, price should be left last, but price usually becomes a negotiated item. Sometimes it's scheduling the delivery. How soon can you get it? Maybe you're all of a sudden having a sale this weekend and you want it sooner than the seller is actually offering. So those can all be negotiation pieces. Maybe you're negotiating the fact that, I'd love to have your product, but I really don't have room here. And so you discuss out how you might help that. Maybe the the seller has some great idea or has a stand that they can bring and put your product on. So those are just a few ideas that off the top of my head, but read the textbook, look at your rubric, handbook, and following your textbook as well for ideas for your objection. Then your trial and close. Try to close after each objective. So you've satisfied that objection. So can we order now? Is that satisfy, all your needs? No, I got a couple, got at least one more thing, or I've got something else on my mind, and they come up with the second objective, and you try to close after that. Does this, each time, so that you get 2 or 3 times that your objections, and then you're trying to close after that. And then as you finalize the sale, and of course you're going to thank them, but prior to that, pretend you've got a contract for them to sign. If you sign this contract, I can get you started next week. And so that's another piece that you can put in there. And then follow up. As a salesperson, you're not just going away. These are the type of clients that you want to keep for a long time. You're in a business where you're going to be calling on them on regularly. So, follow up. Okay, I'll meet you here when this is delivered. I'll help you get it set up. We'll go through it. I'll demonstrate it. Whatever it is you're selling, whatever makes sense for you to do as follow-up. And then how often are you going to come back and visit that client to see that everything is going okay? You don't want to leave it too long in the initial sales stage when they get the product. But going forward, as you continue your visits, you kind of ask the buyer, how often do you want me to visit? And that's going on into the next piece, but you will have regular follow-up appointments. So that is the next week or two, because Unit 6, as you go into Unit 6, there is no assignment in Unit 6 because that's when your actual role play recorded is due. So you kind of do those things in tandem. You're going to do your draft role play for Sunday. Unit 6 needs to be done by the next Sunday, as does your role play, so December 6th. So hard to believe that that's not that far off. So that should be it for the next couple of weeks. I'll certainly join you again next Monday, but in the interim, please reach out and ask me if you're having issues, you don't understand something. We can jump on Teams if it's easier to explain than it is to explain within an email. Whatever works for you guys. I know you're really busy and there's lots going on, but hopefully this will give you a good layout for your role play too. Thank you and have a great week.